Hey there, is this Renee, the woman engaged to a man named Frank?
Who is this?
I bet that right now you're starting to get concerned that your groom hasn't shown up for your wedding yet, am I right? You don't need to answer, I'm totally right.
If you don't tell me who you are, I'm just going to block your number. So you have about 10 seconds to do that before I just dismiss you as some troll.
Someone's grumpy. I'm Millie. I'm a 19-year-old college student, and today I'm going to become the luckiest girl in the world when I get married to Frank.
What? What do you mean? Is this a prank?
Oh, I know what you're thinking, but I'm the one who's marrying Frank today. But too bad for you. Frank and I have been seeing each other for 6 months now. And today, we're finally going to get married. We're having a private ceremony for just the two of us where we'll pledge our endless love for one another. In other words, he's not going to come to your ceremony, so don't bother waiting for him. Now, I bet you're just about to start crying bitter tears of anger, jealousy, and sadness over this, so I recommend you go ahead and tell all your guests to go home before things start getting really ugly.
Millie? Are you the Millie who started working part-time at our company this year?
Yep, that's me.
Okay, well, thank you for letting me know the situation.
What's with that reaction?
Were you expecting something else?
Oh, I think I get it. You knew this was coming, didn't you? You had already resigned to the fact that Frank would end up leaving you eventually anyway, huh? That's probably for the best. You're nowhere near good enough for him. After all, you're a 41-year-old woman who's never been married. You have to know that no man would ever really want you. Aw, it's gonna be really hard for you to find a husband at your age, huh? I almost feel bad for you. Almost, but not quite. Sorry I'm such a bad girl and took your fiancé from you, but really, think about it. I think I speak for everyone in the world when I say this, but who the hell would want to go to some old hag's wedding? Gross! I bet your fat rolls are pouring out of your white dress. And at your age, there is no way you would ever be able to have kids. I could go on, but I think I've said enough for now. It's clear that Frank will be way happier with a 19-year-old college girl like me than a dried-up old hag like you. I'm 19, you're 41. The choice is clear. It's like, what would you rather have? A fresh baked loaf of bread or one that's been getting moldy beneath the fridge for 41 years? Oh, and in this analogy, you're the moldy bread.
Is there anything else you'd like to say to me, or are you finished?
What's the matter? You starting to tear up now?
I have some business to attend to, and I was just about to step outside. Thanks to you, that business just increased tenfold, so if it's all right with you, we can go ahead and end this conversation here and I'll go on about my day.
What are you talking about? Oh, I see. Now you've got to go tell everyone waiting for you in the chapel that your fiancé left you standing at the altar because you're a dried up old granny.
No, that's not it.
Oh, you mean no one was actually in the chapel anyway? It's like I said, who would want to see your cellulite-ridden carcass wearing a strapless dress? They'd lose their lunch for sure. Okay, well, I'll let you go and drink your sorrows away. Have a good time. As for me, I'm gonna go and exchange wedding vows with my hubby-to-be, Frank. Wedded bliss, here I come. So long, Granny. Don't forget to take your Alzheimer's meds today. How goes the wine binge, you lonely old hag?
I have a name, and it's Renee. Use it. If you're 19, then you're old enough to know what is and is not an acceptable way to speak to someone. Frank's mother, your future mother-in-law, will no doubt be on your case constantly about how you speak around her. And if you're really intent on marrying him, I think you'd better prepare yourself mentally right now for what you're about to get yourself into.
You're unreal. What are you doing here, trying to prove to me that you know Frank better than me? That you love him more than me? Well, I'm really sorry to break this to you. Actually, I'm not sorry at all. But I have a very, very important announcement to make. Would you like to hear it? Would you?
I'm very busy, so make it quick.
Just a few minutes ago, Frank and I were officially joined in the bonds of holy matrimony. We're married!
Wow. Already?
Yeah, already. Do you see now? That's how much Frank and I are in love with each other. Being married at 19 is the best. None of my friends are married. They're all gonna be super jealous when I tell them. Plus, that's definitely gonna put me ahead socially with the other girls on campus. I could just be like, step aside, girlfriend, I've got a husband.
I can only hope that it goes that well for you.
Please, keep it coming, keep it coming. I want to take in all of your bitter jealousy. Oh, and guess what else? I'm gonna move into Frank's awesome high-rise condo tonight.
Ah, I see. So that's what you were after. Frank's 38, just 3 years apart from me, but we're both more than twice your age. I was curious what on earth you would possibly see in him, but everything makes sense now.
Like I said, Granny, just keep it coming. I can taste the bitterness in each and every one of your texts.
I think you ought to know, however, that the condo Frank lives in actually belongs to your father-in-law.
Oh, really? Huh, that's weird. But whatever. I don't care whose name is on the title as long as I get to enjoy my lovey-dovey time with my new hubby, Frank.
Wow. You're something else, Millie. Not many people would willingly march straight into the gates of hell like you're doing right now. I commend your bravery.
Huh? What do you mean, the gates of hell?
But hey, if you're happy with that, then more power to you.
Hold on, what are you talking about? You're kind of freaking me out now.
Best of luck in your married life. You'll need it.
Boy, that was a whole lot of nothing. What were you acting so weird for anyway? His condo was totally normal. Frank and I had a wonderful first night as man and wife. I guess you were just trying to scare me or something. What a loser. You are so super jealous that I get Frank and you get to die alone. Now I know that I was concerned about nothing, so you can't bother me anymore. So seriously, can you grow up and move on? I know you're probably never gonna completely get over it, but I don't want you to be constantly trying to interfere with our marriage, got it? You're gonna have to face facts eventually, so you might as well do it now. You are never gonna have Frank. It is never going to happen. You read me? Never. Never. It is over. Okay, I'm gonna go back and do a little more smooching with Frankie now. Toodles! Oh my god, being a bride at 19 is the best thing I've ever done, like, bar none. I just announced on Instagram that I got married and started my life in a high-rise condo, and I am getting swarmed with likes. My phone is totally blowing up with notifications. All the other girls are super jealous of me. You should look up my Instagram account. Do you want me to tell you my username? I've got a ton of adorable pictures of me in my wedding dress. I look fantastic. It'll show you what you could have had if you were young and beautiful like me and not old and dried up like you. Renee, what is going on here?
I have no idea. You tell me.
Frank's parents just got here. Frank's mom came right up to him and gave him a huge kiss on the cheek and called him her little Frankie poo. I thought that was gross, but then Frank called his mom Mommy. He actually called her Mommy.
Oh.
And then it gets worse. Frank said that his parents are gonna live together with us starting today. But that's not even all. Frank and his mom are gonna sleep together in the bedroom, and I'm gonna have to sleep on the living room couch. I've heard of mama's boys, but what the hell? Frank is 38.
Let me guess. Frank's dad just looks at the two of them being an absolute gross fest, shakes his head, laughs, and pretends it's just some cute mother-son affection, right?
Yes, that's exactly what he's doing. And why didn't he tell me anything about his parents living with us?
Well, if you don't like the situation, you could always divorce him.
Don't be stupid. I can't divorce him. I just announced to my Instagram followers that I got married yesterday. I'm not going to be a divorced woman at 19.
You don't want to spend your youthful years getting nauseous at the sight of that giant mama's boy living out an Oedipus complex, do you?
But if I get divorced, my social value as a woman is going to plummet.
Well, you know your options. The choice is up to you. And don't say I didn't warn you. I told you that you were marching straight towards the gates of hell, didn't I?
Well,
I told you that the condo Frank lives in is actually your father-in-law's. His parents run a pretty big real estate company, and thanks to them, Frank is able to live in condos and apartments that would ordinarily be way, way too far above his means.
You knew about that?
And it was precisely the mother-son relationship that's making you sick to your stomach right now that got me to break off our engagement 2 weeks ago.
Wait, what? You broke off your engagement 2 weeks ago?
Yep, 2 weeks ago. We both joined our company at roughly the same time around 20 years ago. So we worked together on a lot of projects, and eventually he asked me out on a date. His work was pretty good, and he seemed like a trustworthy guy, so I agreed, and we started dating. But then one fateful day, I was unfortunate enough to witness exactly how close his relationship with his mother was when I walked into the condo unexpectedly, and, well, after that, I just could never look at him the same way again.
Wow.
When I very honestly told him and his mother exactly how I felt about their relationship and why I was breaking off the engagement, his mother lost it. She told me that she had chosen me, an older woman, to care for him just like she always did. And she chose you, Millie, to fulfill his desires since you were younger and prettier than me. The last thing she ever said to me was, "Fine, I knew you would never be enough to give him what he really needs, me. And if you're not going to look after him for me, then I'll just have to take care of Frank myself." Oh, and by the way, it was that little slip-up by her that made me aware of your relationship with Frank, so you have his mother to thank for that, too.
Oh, no.
And that was my first reason for breaking off the engagement, his disgusting relationship with his mother.
So, wait, what happened to your wedding yesterday?
What wedding? We canceled it a long time ago, obviously.
But didn't you say that you had a lot more work to do because of me? I thought you meant that you had a lot of work to do to cancel the wedding. You know, call the venue, the caterer, the band, all that stuff.
No, that's not what I meant at all. I was just so appalled that my ex-fiance's mistress would so brazenly announce herself to me like you did that I decided to move up the timeline of the punishment I was planning for you. I had to get a last-minute appointment with my lawyer. I was lucky he was free that morning.
What do you need a lawyer for?
Which brings me to the second reason I broke off the engagement. As I told you a short while ago, I was aware that you had some sort of relationship with my ex-fiancé for some time before you texted me to rub your marriage to Frank in my face. What I didn't know was that your relationship had been going on for as much as 6 months, and that it was going on behind my back while we were engaged. In other words, that you were actually having an affair.
Yeah, well, so what?
I had been trying to get some hard evidence of exactly how long your relationship had been going on and how far you had gone because I couldn't move forward without it. But thanks to you, I now have all the evidence I could have ever hoped for. I'm going to sue the two of you for your affair.
You can't sue me. You weren't even married yet. That's not an affair.
Actually, as being engaged is, in legal terms, a contract, you could say that it's a form of tortious interference, but yes, I can sue you. My lawyer hasn't calculated the final amount yet, but you should prepare yourself to be hit for something in the realm of the low 5-digit range.
What? You can't do this to me!
You have only yourself to blame for getting involved with an engaged man. I think the paperwork should be ready within the next few days, so you'll be hearing from my lawyer shortly. I do recommend you do exactly as he says. Fighting this will only make matters worse for you.
This can't be happening. I don't have that kind of money. I'm still in college.
Millie's parents had divorced and were both remarried to different people, and they had effectively cut Millie out of their lives. Ultimately, Frank's parents had to foot the bill for both my lawsuit against him and the one against Millie. With nowhere else to turn, Millie had no choice but to accept her new position in life, living together in that condo with Frank and his parents. However, one day it seems that Frank's father finally had enough of being a third wheel for his wife and son and told his family that he wanted a divorce. And since the condo was in his name, his wife and son had no say in the matter, so he promptly kicked them all out onto the curb. At the same time, Frank, who was enjoying his life married to a woman half his age, made a massive mistake on a project that cost the company millions of dollars. This led to the discovery of years of malfeasance from him, so he was unceremoniously fired. So now we find Millie in the situation of dealing with her psychotic mother-in-law and newly unemployed husband, who is also 20 years her senior. Frank was facing criminal charges for his malfeasance at his old job, so his employment prospects were less than zero. His mother was far too busy waiting on him hand and foot to even think about getting a job herself. In the end, Millie had to drop out of college and get multiple part-time jobs in order to support the three of them.
I got home earlier than I expected today. Where are you, Amy? Are you out?
Hey, Jason. I'm just visiting my father's grave. I'll be home soon.
You went to visit his grave again? Aren't you going there too often?
When I have time, I end up coming here.
It's been a year since your father passed away. You don't have to visit his grave that often.
But I feel bad for Dad.
About what?
They had just found a cure for Dad's incurable disease, but I couldn't afford to give him the treatment. If he had been able to get the treatment, he might still be alive today. I felt regret because I didn't do everything I could have done.
Can't change the past. Our business wasn't doing well until last year. We couldn't afford to pay for the treatment. The treatment was very expensive.
It was a treatment that could only be received overseas.
Insurance won't cover it if it's overseas. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't afford the treatment. It's just one of those things that can't be helped. Don't blame yourself for so long.
I only had Dad in my family. Dad worked from morning till night to raise me. I was weak, and I think it was really hard for him to raise me. I couldn't do anything to give Dad any filial piety. I know I didn't have a choice, but I just can't help it.
Even so, I'm sure your father would be happy. His daughter loved him so much. I think it would be good filial piety for you to stay cheerful and energetic, don't you?
I don't know if that's enough. I haven't done anything for Dad.
I think that's enough. Even if you had to push yourself at the time to make the money for the treatment, I'm sure we would have ended in bankruptcy and our lives would have been over. Even if you had gotten better, that wouldn't have made your father happy.
Well, maybe you might be right, I guess.
Right? And I'm sure your father would understand that. It must be sad for him to know that you haven't gotten over it. I'm sure if I were your father, I'd feel the same way.
You're right. There's no point in having regrets.
Let's move forward. We did everything we could. Your father would be proud of you.
Yeah, thank you. I'll try to reduce visits to his grave from now on. I'm sorry I made you worry.
You lost your father. It's normal to be sad. But I don't like you being sad all the time either. It makes me sad too. Just take a little bit of time to be positive.
Okay, I'm sorry. I've already grieved enough, and I'll try to change my mind. I've got to make sure my dad in heaven doesn't worry about me.
Yes. If you have a positive attitude, you'll be happy. What your father wants most of all is for you to be happy.
Good job today. Isn't it pretty hot in Kyushu? Have you arrived at the hotel yet?
I just got to the hotel. I'm really tired. It's spring, but it feels like summer.
It was hot here today too. I think it was about 77 degrees.
It's hot everywhere now, even in spring. You know what? The ocean is so beautiful here. The water's so clear. I guess Okinawa isn't the only place where the sea is beautiful.
Wow, that's nice. I guess I should have gone with you. I bet the cherry blossoms are already in full bloom over there.
Hey, I'm on a business trip. I'm not here for fun. Besides, it would have cost us extra money if we had both come.
Why don't we just make an expense? We're self-employed.
What are you talking about? It's a waste of money. There's no need for both of us to come. Besides, you're in charge of administration and accounting, so you should do your job well there.
I'm doing all right, but I love to go on a business trip once in a while too. It's boring to stay home all the time.
Then maybe we'll take a trip when the business settles down. We haven't gone somewhere together for a while.
Really?
Our business is on the right track. It's okay to splurge once in a while.
That's great. I want to go. I'd love to go overseas or to Okinawa.
That would cost us too much money.
No.
If it's the low season for airplane tickets, Okinawa would be fine. Well, think about where you want to go. It's a little early, but I'm tired today, so I'm going to bed.
Oh, wait. I just got a call from the IRS.
What? Why?
They said they found past undeclared income. They want to check back about 3 years ago, so I need to see the paperwork. It's on your computer, right? Let me take a look.
Why my computer? You have our accounting data on yours, don't you?
You know I had to replace my computer last year because it crashed. I didn't have backup of the data from 2 years ago. Once the paperwork was done, I sent you a database copy of the paperwork as well, right? Well, you have the data on the documents, don't you?
Well, I guess.
So I'm going to check your computer. Can you give me your password?
Can't you just wait until I get back?
I need to take care of the tax stuff as soon as possible. The IRS will be angry.
Why would there be any undeclared... Ugh, you better take care of it.
I'm only human, so I make mistakes. Besides, it's not a big amount to be undeclared.
Ugh. The IRS shouldn't be contacting us every time we do something like that.
That's their job. If you don't like these things, just hire a tax attorney. I've suggested this many times before, haven't I? You're trying to cut down the expenses and making me do all the paperwork.
Okay. Password is 0818.
What's this number?
It's my favorite baseball player's birthday. Doesn't matter, right?
It's open. Thank you. Okay, well, I'll take a look.
You see a file in the documents named Accounting Relations? There's a file in it named Tax Declaration. I've organized them by years, so you can find them from there.
Okay.
Don't open any other files.
Why? Are you looking at weird things?
No, I'm not. Do you think I watch those things on my work computer? I mean, don't look at it because it has personal information about clients and customers.
I'm not allowed to look at those?
Of course not. It's important personal information.
Even though I've seen documents while I've been through the paperwork?
You never know where a leak could come from nowadays. Even if they're related to us, it's not okay.
I got it. Can I make copies of the files I need?
Only the files you need.
You don't need to worry so much. Why are you nervous?
I'm not nervous. I just don't like people touching my computer. I have good crisis management skills. That's it.
Amy, why don't you pick up your phone? You're at home, aren't you? Hello, mother-in-law. Yes, I'm at home. You finally answered. Why aren't you at the hospital? Because I don't have to go. What do you mean? Your husband was in a car accident. He got into an accident on the way home from a business trip and he was taken straight to the hospital, right? But you don't even come to check on him. Aren't you worried about him? No, I'm not. Seriously? My son regained consciousness just now. Hurry up and come to the hospital. My son is asking for you. What? Did he wake up? That's too bad. Bad guys are so tough.
Huh? What are you talking about?
What do you mean by too bad? I don't care what happens to my husband. I think he deserves it. I'd rather he didn't wake up at all. Don't be so ominous. What a horrible thing to say. I'm still holding back on this one. If I could, I'd like to yell at him for everything he's done. But I won't do that because it'd be a waste of energy.
What's wrong with you, Amy? I thought you two were such a lovely couple. You were in a business together, and you supported each other. Why do you say such a thing? Do you have a personal grudge against my son? A grudge? Yes, I do. My husband is like an avenger of my father. An avenger of your father? What's going on? That man has been playing me a fool all year. It wasn't a business trip this time either. What do you mean by not a business trip? For the past few days, I've been collecting evidence of my husband's wrongdoing, so I'm sure I'm not wrong. I was going to show him the evidence and question him when he comes home. I never thought he'd be in a car accident. He's a very unlucky man. Wait, explain it to me. What did my son lie to you about? My father passed away a year ago, right? Yeah? He'd been battling an incurable disease. Yes. What about that? He might have lived longer. But my husband ruined that possibility. What? I've been fooled by him my whole life. I will never forgive my husband. Hello, Amy. When are you coming to the hospital to see me? Why are you ignoring me? I had an accident. Aren't you worried? Jason, it's Mom. She probably won't go to the hospital. Huh? Why are you answering me, Mom? I'm with Amy now. Oh, you must be getting impatient with her too. But why isn't she coming? And she doesn't reply to my message. That's because she realized your betrayal. Betrayal? What are you talking about? You're a horrible person. I think it's scary, even as my own child. How could you do such a terrible thing? Maybe I raised you badly. No, what's with you all of a sudden? I don't get it. You weren't on a business trip, were you? The truth is, it was an affair trip. No. What are you talking about? How could I have an affair? We know everything about what you did. We've got the evidence from your computer. No way. Oh, damn you, Amy. Amy said she didn't check the computer. You refused to let her see anything and were acting strange. That's why she thought you were suspicious. No. I told her not to look at anything unnecessary. You're the one who should be blamed, right? I'm putting her on the phone now. Apologize. Apologizing isn't enough, but still. I do feel bad about having an affair. I understand she has the right to be angry at me. But enough to ignore her husband in a car accident? That should go against her conscience. That's not the only thing you've done, was it? What? I can't cover for you. Even if I were in her shoes, I would never forgive you. You should be punished properly. Mom? What are you talking about? Hi, it's Amy. Just change the phone. Amy? What the hell is she talking about? Before that, I'll tell you about the affair first. We will get a divorce, and I will charge you and your affair partner. I'll send a content certification letter to your affair partner. Slow down. Wait a minute. I think you're being too hasty with a divorce. She's just someone I play with. So? I love you the most. We've been through so much together since we got married. I promise I'll change. Just give me one more chance. I'm not giving you a chance anymore. You're my father's avenger. What are you talking about? I checked all the paperwork for the past 5 years. Didn't you falsify those documents? You diverted sales to your affair partner. What? I mean, that's embezzlement. Now we're clear. The reason we didn't have any money wasn't because our business wasn't doing well. It's because you were embezzling money. I'm sorry about that. You admit it. If I had the money you contributed to the affair, I could have gotten Dad the treatment he needed. You took Dad's life. I will never forgive you. Wait a minute. That's a leap too far. Huh? To be honest, if he was treated, he may or may not have survived, right? He was fighting the disease for a long time. Sooner or later, your father would have died. He had a short life anyway. What a terrible thing to say, you stupid son! Mom again? You have no compassion. How did you become such a bastard? You're not my son anymore. Don't ever show your face to me again. Mom! You're a stranger to me. You bastard. No, don't be so angry. I need you both to calm down.
I have a message from your mother. If you go back to your parents' house, she says, expect to be beaten up. You don't have a family anymore.
Why is she that mad at me? You and Mom are both too small-minded. It's not my fault that your father died. It was because of his illness.
Even if it was, you took away the one spark of hope I had that he might be cured. That fact doesn't change. Because of you, I will regret it for the rest of my life.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
It's too late to apologize now. I lost my parent because of you. Now, you're going to lose yours too. That's refreshing.
I think I've had enough punishment. I injured my leg badly in this accident. The doctor told me I might have permanent damage. Isn't that enough?
It's not enough. I'm going to charge you for compensation, and I wonder what will happen to the business when I'm gone. I don't think you can protect it all by yourself. You'll probably lose your job, parents, money, freedom, everything. You'll wish you never woke up.
You're a monster.
Remember, you said, what Dad wants most is for me to be happy. So, I'm going to punish you for that. Your suffering is the first step to my happiness. After that, I made my ex-husband and the affair partner pay money as I declared, and we divorced. He had embezzled money, so I was able to get a lot of money from both of them, and after the divorce, I left the business I was running with him. It seems that he was trying to continue the business alone. The business was originally dependent on me, so soon after I left, he went bankrupt, and my ex-husband has gotten into huge debt. My ex-husband, who was disabled from the accident, couldn't find a job. He went to his parents for help. They didn't help him either, as my mother-in-law declared to him. After all, he never came back to me or his parents. I don't know if he has become a hermit, or if he's no longer in this world. No one knows what happened to him. On the other hand, I started a small business with the compensation money. It's safer and easier for me to do it on my own.